This Amateur Radio Roundtable is brought to you in part by ICOM America. Hello everybody, welcome. It's Tuesday, February 27th, and this is Amateur Radio Roundtable. I'm Tom Medlin, W5KUB, and with us tonight we've got Richard Mollison, W2VU, and we've got Dave Kassler, KE0OG with us tonight. And a little bit later, we're going to have Joe Eisenberg, K0NEB. I got them all right tonight. And then some other special things for you. But hey, first of all, just a couple announcements. We've got some shortwave listeners in the room tonight. We welcome shortwave listeners. That's how I got started in ham radio over 50 years ago, listening to shortwave. And also, we're on an international shortwave station, WBCQ, tonight. If you want to try to listen on the web, you can go to splatterbox.us, port 7800, splatterbox.us, :7800, and click on the little word there that says listen, and it'll download a player, and you can open that player and you can listen to the show on the web tonight if you want to. So let me take that off. If you're new to us, we welcome you and hope you'll be a regular joining us here. There's a menu at the top, and we'd love for you to join our Facebook group, the W5KUB Facebook group, just at the top menu there. So please click on that and join us. Hey, a special announcement tonight. Looky here. Samantha Jones, KE0IAA, she got her extra class license Saturday, I think. So she got her general, let's see if I got this right. She got her tech in 2016, she got her general in 2017, and she got her extra in 2018. So I don't know what she's going to do in 2019. I guess they're going to have to make another license out there for her. But congratulations, Sam. And another thing, boy, talk about the congratulations in our Facebook group. She's had over 500 likes and over 100 comments already on just that post that she got her extra. So she's turning out to be a real celebrity here on Amateur Radio Roundtable there. Let's see. Hey, just some quick new news, guys. Been working with the Hamvention guys. Hamvention is coming up. You're going to start hearing a lot about it each week now. As you know, it's at the fairgrounds there in Xenia. And this is kind of a layout. And if you remember us, we were in Building 5 last year. Kind of that little small building down toward the bottom, Building 5. But we're going to be moving this year. We're going to be moving to building number 2, the big one right in the center, and that's where we'll be. We've got 2 great entryways on each side of us there. A lot of people will be passing through there, so be sure and stop by and visit with us. We'll have the show on, and we'll be live there. In fact, we'll probably do another 48-hour live video stream from there. We call it the Hamvention Marathon. So that's what we'll be doing here in just in a couple months here. I think it's all the announcements I had tonight. We're back on WBCQ. Let's go out to Rich and talk to Rich about CQ magazine. So let me bring Rich in here.
You're going to have to let him untangle his.
Oh, okay. Is he all tangled up here?
Sorry about
Okay.
that.
Hey, Rich, how you doing?
I was battling with Dougal over position of the headset.
All right. Well, who normally wins that?
He does, but this time I managed to prevail.
Okay. All right. It looks like Dougal there might be the master down here in the shack. Does he stay down there a lot?
Quite a bit. He likes to be here when I'm here and keep an eye on me, make sure I'm,
yeah,
following the rules and soldering things right and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, I think
the cats definitely rule here.
Yeah, you saw our weather coming in here in a little while. I had the map up earlier, and I think you said you're going to be getting, what, a northeasterner or whatever up there in the next day or two?
Yeah, nor'easter.
Nor'eastern. I didn't
Thursday into
pronounce it right.
Friday. That's where the storm builds up over the ocean, and the winds come in from the northeast and bring in a lot of rain and wind.
Do you typically have pretty high winds?
The forecast for this one is 40 to 50 mile an hour.
No, that would be quite a bit, actually. Well, I was looking through my CQ today. Tell us about what's coming up in CQ. I'd like to hear some news here.
All righty. Well, our March issue is ready to roll. It'll be the digital edition will be online later this week, and the print edition should follow soon thereafter. And it's a really interesting issue. It's not focused on any one thing in particular. A couple of times a year we get to just do a variety of different things, and this is one of them. We start out with a really cool interview with Princess Electra Marconi, Marconi's daughter. Fascinating interview with her and her perspective on her father as a person, not just a historical figure in radio. Really, really interesting interview by an Italian ham who writes for one of the magazines over there as well. We've got a first look at the HF Signals micro-BitX QRP transceiver. That's the new multi-band transceiver from HF Signals. I just finished building a BitX40 over here, and that's...
Let's look at it. Wait, bring it over. Bring it toward you a little bit. Bring it toward you. There you go.
Let me take the speaker off the top of it.
Okay.
And I built it into a wooden case.
So my question was, how did you get such a nice hole for the display?
I'm sorry, how did I get what?
Such a nice hole cut, so straight for the display. Well, when I do it in plastic or metal, boy, it don't.
You're not seeing it clearly enough.
Yeah.
It's the round holes I managed to do with the drill press, and they did pretty well. In fact, I writing about it in my April editorial.
I think I hear your cat purring right now. Is your cat on the microphone?
I think he's leaning on the microphone. Yeah.
Sounds like a motorboat. Yeah.
So I had to. This case is thicker than I thought it was. I ended up having to recess a lot of the holes in order to get the mounting hardware onto the controls. The display opening I did with a coping saw, and I'm not as good with that as the drill press can be with the round holes. So it looks better from a distance than close up.
All right. Well, you get to see how that works out. That's a pretty nice little radio. But the radio you're talking about in CQ is an all-band radio. Right. It's got a little bit more to it than that.
Yes, it's a multi-band QRP transceiver from the same folks in India, the micro-BitX. And so we've got a first look at that. Also, very impressive radio. And then K8ZT has a second look, the KX second look, to let you see more of your decoded characters for digital modes with a KX receivers from Elecraft. Right now, the built-in display gives you, I think, 40 characters or something like that, and this is an add-on that gives you at least 80, so you can see more of the text that's scrolling by on the screen. We've got a couple of stories about the Solar Eclipse last year and different things that hams were doing. We've got one called Whispering Pie in the Solar Eclipse, plus a roundup of shorter pieces from different people on what they did. Just last Friday, I spent the day at a ham sci workshop here in New Jersey with a lot of people talking about the research they did on the eclipse, and the goal there was to match up hams with solar scientists and ionospheric scientists who work on this for a living and try to promote interaction between ham radio operators and professional scientists because we can provide multiple observation points that are very difficult for them. I'll be writing about that in the upcoming issue.
Will any of that data be in next month's issue?
No, the earliest we'll be able to get that in is May. Well, I mean, some of the data, we've been having stuff over the last several months. Jay Taft, K1EHZ, has done 2 articles on his observations and his data. The Whispering Pie article in March is going to be about N8DAW's work and various shorter pieces in our roundup. So we've been giving people bits and pieces of that over the last several months, and we'll do a conference write-up probably May or June, depending on how much space we got available. Other stuff coming up in the March issue, we have the results of the 2017 CQ Worldwide RIDI-DX contest. A really interesting article about wireless power transfer with radio waves. Think about a crystal set, and that it pulls power out of the air. This is a young woman who started out when she was like 9. She's a high school senior now, I believe. And basically was able to, working with her father, who's also a ham, come up with a circuit to pull enough energy out of RF signals to power a little receiver and even a battery charger. So very, very cool stuff. We've got WB9YBM with an article on DTMF decoders, and the title there is Not Just for Repeaters. Talks about using them for a variety of tasks in your shack, different things that you could control remotely. In our January issue, people may recall W0RW writing about building a rig into the case of an old BC-221 frequency counter from World War II vintage. And he's got a follow-up in this issue about setting it on fire. So we'll and what happened and why. Among our columns, we've got emergency communications on the AUXCOM system, which is the kind of a new iteration of the umbrella under which RACES falls at the Department of Homeland Security. And companion piece in our learning curve column of National Weather Service still needs you for providing ground truth reports through Skywarn, stuff like that. Joe Heisenberg, who you'll be hearing from later, has his kit building column this month on a 40-meter delight and an 80-meter favorite. And since he'll be on later, I'll let him tell you what they are.
Well, you know, I think Joe was waiting on the microbix. I bet you something comes up in CQ about the microbix.
Yeah, he's going to be writing about that in a couple of months. As soon as he finishes building it, he's going to write that up and see if his experience matches up with W8TEE, who wrote our first look piece for the March issue. And let's see. In our DX column, we've got a remembrance of David Collingham, K3LP, a very, very well-known, well-respected DXer and DXpeditioner who unfortunately became a silent key over the winter trying to rescue his dog who had fallen through the ice on a lake on his property. And unfortunately, he fell through it as well. And by the time anyone got out there to rescue him, it was too late. So it's a great loss for the DX community. And finally, our propagation editor, Thomas Hood, NW7US, writes about the sun tearing out a wall in Earth's magnetic field during solar flares and things like that. So we've got a wide variety of interesting articles for covering a lot of different topics this month, and it's always fun when we get to do an issue like that. Cover a lot of ground. And of course, you can sign up at www.cq-amateur-radio.com. Our Spring Fever promotion is going on right now, so you can get a break. And we'd love to have all of your listeners be our readers as well.
Well, you know, I guess you'll be up at you'll be dating, won't you, here in a couple months? Yeah. Do you know what building you guys in? Do you know?
Yeah, we're going to be in Building 4. I just found that out today.
Okay, 4. Is that the new one?
That's the new. Well, it's not a new building. It's a newly available building. That's the one that used to be the furniture shop.
Right. Well, you know, that building actually has air conditioning. Did you know that building is air conditioned?
Oh no, that's great.
Yeah. Now, how well it will work with the doors open, I don't know, but that building is one of the air conditioned buildings, and where we are last year, well, where we're going to be last year, it was really, really hot. Let me tell you. Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
All right, looking forward to seeing you, and be sure and come by, and we'll get you on the show, and we'll talk CQ.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
Have a good night, and Google says good night too, although he's already passed out here.
All right, Rich. Thank you. Save me 3, and we'll talk to you here again soon.
Okay. Good night.
All right. Good night. All right. Hey. Good segment here. That was Rich Mollison, W2VU. He's the editor of CQ Magazine. All right, so let's see what we got coming up here next. I think we're going to bring up. We're going to check in and see what Dave is doing out there. Let's do an Ask Dave here and bring Dave in, and see what he's been up to. I know he's trying some new things here. So Dave, how you doing out there? Now you're out, tell everybody where you are. You're out in what, Colorado or somewhere?
Southwestern Colorado. If you know where Durango is, I'm north of there. Or if you know where Grand Junction is, I'm south of there. So we're somewhere in the middle. Just got back from a week in sunny but very cold Phoenix. Everybody told us it was going to be warm in Phoenix. They were wrong. It was sunny, though. The thing that I tried that is different from what I've done before, I've always done videos. And the nice thing about videos is you can write a script and you can shoot it. And if you don't like it, you can change it. And if the picture is the wrong picture, you can go put in another picture and get everything the way you want it, upload it, and it goes out to the world. Well, I have developed a newfound respect for what you've been doing, Tom, because I tried a live stream. This was a week and a half ago, and I'm going to continue to try to do this on YouTube, which would be at noon Eastern on every Saturday. And I think that's, let's see, it's 10 here, 7, about 5 p.m., 1700 hours UTC. And it's going to be a recurring thing just for half an hour, and we're going to kind of go into CW. I started teaching some of the letters. The first one, I'll teach a few more this time. And it's sort of a perpetual, ongoing, round and round kind of thing. So it's sort of like a CW workshop, and we'll do it just for half an hour on Saturday morning. I discovered when I signed up via YouTube for the live streaming feature that it's all different. And I got a piece of software called OBS Studio, which is free, which was probably the reason I went for it. Apparently, you can pay quite a bit of money for hardware devices that will switch between cameras and so on. The first time that we did it, I was just sort of feeling my way. And we had about 150, 170 people who joined during the actual live stream, plus another couple thousand who took a look at the recording of the live stream. And so I've got to get myself a little bit better organized, and several viewers told me that.
Well,
rather bluntly.
speaking of the OBS, I've used it here, and I plan to use it as a backup if necessary. It is a free, it's freeware, and it's got a lot of features in it, a lot of things in it that this program we're using tonight has. We're using Wirecast, and this version costs like $500. You said it's expensive. It is, to do all these things it does. It's like $500, and if you want the pro version, it's $999 or something. So stick with the OBS. It'll do 90% of all the things you want to do, but there's that learning curve.
Oh, yeah. And one of the things I had trouble with, I had two cameras. I had one camera on me and one camera on the little QCX kit. And what I used this for, it has a way in here of turning the transmitter off so that you can just use this thing as a code practice oscillator. Very nice tone, pure sine wave tone. Plus, the CW reader that's built into this will pick up the code that you send in practice and put it up here. So that's a great way of testing if the code you're sending is actually legible.
Right.
I've noticed with a lot of people who learn to receive fairly well that their sending is atrocious. So I'm going to try to encourage that as well.
So the live show you're doing on Saturdays is to try to get people interested in and get them to learn Morse code, right?
Yeah, that's right. With little radios like this QCX is an extremely impressive little radio. Now, grant you it's single band, but the price for it was just, even with the shipping, it was like $55 or something. An extremely competent receiver on this thing, and it puts out a genuine 5 watts. And with 5 watts on CW, you can actually work other states. You can work other places like that. 5 watts is successful on CW. And now with the new BITX 40, I'm sorry, this is the micro BITX or UBIT.
Yeah, the micro.
How do you pronounce it? UBITX?
Uh-huh.
This is all bands. You can do CW on all bands. So the people I'm trying to interest in this are technicians, because technicians, this is one of the best kept secrets in amateur radio. Technicians have Morse code privileges on HF on 80, 40, 15, and 10 meters. And you can do, and basically the entire CW band is available to the tech except for the extra portion. And it's a great way to get on, have some conversations out of state and so on. So my goal is to help techs and anybody else who wants to learn the code get up enough of a skill that they're willing to try sending some Morse code with something like this that they have built themselves, and get a feel for HF. I think it'll help motivate them to get their general, and as they get their speed up, they can move into the faster speed portions of the band and so on. And so what I plan to do in a few weeks is open up an HF frequency, probably on 40 meters or something like that, and see if any of the viewers want to try sending code to me, and we can get some sort of live feedback going back and forth. You mentioned you were live streaming some live QSOs that you had with the people on Facebook. I've got to listen into one of those and see how that works. But my whole goal on this thing is to take some of the mystery out of Morse code and take some of the intimidation out of Morse code. It can be done.
Dave, back when, when I got my license, that's the route we all had to go with the CW back then. And because of that, it became part of us, and I enjoyed CW. And of course, to get the extra, it required 20 or 21 words a minute. And my code speed was up there pretty good for a number of years. Now, I haven't been on CW in a long time, but we've been getting our viewers on in the afternoons on 40 meters, and one of them challenged me Michael, I forget his WD0BC, I think, challenged me to come down and meet him on CW. So I went down there on CW, and I met him. Boy, he was clicking away at 18 words a minute, and I was copying about half of it, about 50%, you know. So I think my speed right now has declined probably to about, 12, 13 words a minute. But it wouldn't take me long to get it back up. I haven't been on CW in years.
Well, I got on when I started building a series of CW QRP rigs. I've got them for 40, 30, and 20, and got a couple bands doubled up. And you can almost always get a QSO going with 5 watts. It's not an issue. It's very difficult on sideband to do that, but it's very easy on CW. So I would like to see people try it, sort of, not as something the old guard wants, but as something they can try for themselves. A lot of the people I hear on the bands and CW are going much more slowly than, it was back when we were trying to get up to 20 words a minute. I'm one of the people who passed 20 words a minute, and the only way I passed is I had done so many on-the-air QSOs. I knew exactly what to listen for. There was none of my code was coherent, but I was able to pick out 9 out of the 10 answers that were needed on the test for that. So yeah. I think 18 was a better one for me, and I think I'm running about 10 right now.
Yeah. Hey, we got a shortwave listener in here tonight, I guess in the military or wherever. He was doing 40 words per minute in numbers.
That's pretty good.
In numbers. And let me tell you, those numbers are a little bit, to me, the numbers are harder to do than the letters. You got to listen longer, Yeah.
And getting 40 word per minute, 5 character groups.
Yeah.
And the thing is, in order for them to work through the crypto, they've got to be accurate. You can't make any mistakes.
You mentioned the tech license, trying to get some of the techs to get on CW and use their HF privileges. We've got a short segment tonight with a tech that we're going to have on here, and he has so many DXCCs, DXQSL cards and DXCC and everything. It's just amazing, and he's a tech. So you can do a lot with a tech license. You don't have to have the other license.
Yeah, if you're willing to go the CW route, you can do that. Or if you are wanting to do data or something, 10 meters does occasionally open up, and you can do some phenomenal things with it. But 80/40 and about 80 and 40 are where you're going to have most luck, I think. There is a move afoot in the league that I hear about from time to time, that the league is trying to persuade the FCC to give techs some additional HF privileges, maybe little slices of sideband and so on, to get techs into HF in a way that they find meaningful. I'm sure the equipment manufacturers would love that too. They can sell higher end rigs than just mobile rigs. But that would be good for techs. I've met a lot of techs who, I can tell them, hey, you can do this. And they go, yeah, what do I do with my handheld? I'm going, well, frankly, not much. I think if you tried something like this, you'd find a lot more going on, a lot more interesting things happening. So anyway, that's what's behind my attempt at live stream. One of the suggestions that I received was that I get somebody else to switch between the cameras during the live stream. So I'll see if I can talk my wife into that and have her do that. By the way, my last video that I put up, she interrupted me while I was recording the video, and just for kicks, I left the interruption in. And one of my viewers said that after looking at her, I had definitely married up.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Thought that was funny.
Yeah, very good. Okay, well, it's interesting what you're doing. I'll try to join you if I can remember on Saturday and get in here and watch and see what I can do.
Well, great, and good luck with that storm tomorrow.
Yeah, actually, it's going to hit tonight about 9 o'clock. Probably before the show's over, we'll be getting it here. All right, well, Dave, I'm going to go. Dave, you can stick around if you want to. You don't have to run off. We'll just leave the connection up if you want to stay on. It's up to you. We'll be bringing Joe Eisenberg in here in just a couple minutes. So thanks a lot for the segment there on your live CW training you're doing on Saturdays.
Well, very good. And 73 to you. And I'll probably watch for a while and see this next part.
All right, very good. Okay, well, I tuned in the other day with Dave, but it said I got the message popped up that said he's live, but when I got there, it wasn't live. I don't know. I was doing something wrong on YouTube. Who knows what it was? Anyway, okay, everybody. Hey, let's move on. Everybody, we'll be back in just a minute here. Communicate with the best. Communicating has never been so much fun than with ICOM. From D-Star to SDR, ICOM uses the most advanced technology in their radios. The SDR you've asked for is here. ICOM's new 7610 is a high-performance RMDR with the ability to pick out the faintest of signals, even in the presence of stronger adjacent signals. The new ICOM IC7610 is a direct sampling, software-defined radio that will change the world's definition of an SDR transceiver. It has an independent dual receiver with 110 dB RMDR. Communicate with a new D-Star communications device. Easy to operate, the ID31A Plus is available in silver, red, or gold. With it, you have worldwide digital communications. You can share pictures and text messages. It's waterproof, compact, lightweight, and tough. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM radios. All right, we're back. And we've got Joe K0NEB with us. Hadn't had him on here in 3 or 4 weeks, I guess. And Joe's done some interesting things over the past couple weeks. He's been to some Ham Fest. He joined I'm just going to say this, he joined a crazy organization. You might talk about that in a minute. And let's see what else. Oh, he's got some kits he's going to show us. So let me bring Joe in here. And hey, Joe, how you doing tonight?
Hi, Tom, and good evening from Lincoln, Nebraska, where almost 2 weeks ago it was 2 below zero, and today it was in the low 60s. So hopefully spring is on its way. And here's something to show Dave. I was very interested in your talking about the QCX, because guess what I have to put together?
Very good.
And I'm sure you'd like to see that, and we'll get my take on it. It is amazing how inexpensive this is, and like we were talking about, this one also decodes the CW, so that's going to be a fun one. This kit here I brought back from the Yuma Ham Fest, Pacific Antenna, which is qrpkits.com. You always hear me mention them in my seminars. And this is a newer version of his Easy receiver, and it's still in the bag and ready to be put together. So you can see what my projects are going to be over the next few weeks. This kit here is the 4-state QRP. It's a new one that we just put out about a week or so ago. It is the Ssb Mite, and it's like the Hyper Mite. And the Hyper Mite was, I don't know if I can get the camera to focus.
Looks good. Good focus.
The Hyper Mite was designed to be a no-ring type CW filter, and this is a sideband filter, and it's got a notch filter on the top end. So if there's something squealing and you kind of tune it up on the high side, it'll take that right out. It is analog, but does a great job. I've heard it before. I just completed it a couple days ago, and I haven't hooked it up yet. So if we don't let all the magic smoke out, we're going to have a neat little single sideband type audio filter. And so this is a good one. You heard Rich mention my 80-meter favorite. This is the Cricket, and this is the 80A version. This is the newer version. Has a power switch on it and more sockets for transistors, so it's easier to replace them. And this one's all done except for the capacitors. And just so that you know that you don't have to wind any toroids. If you look, they are spiral wound on the circuit board.
I'll see that.
So you don't have to wind any coils for this, and it is a simple 80-meter CW transceiver. Now, the earlier version of this we did as a group kit build at OzarkCon, and I'll put in a plug for OzarkCon. It's the annual gathering of the 4-state QRP group. It is on the first full weekend in April, and I'll be there, and we're going to be building a 30-meter version of that kit. And I'll tell you, the receiver on this was so good that I was able to easily copy the ARL CW bulletin on 80 meters. And the signal was easily, comfortably listenable on this. And then I hooked up my KX2 to the same antenna. And the antenna was a 40-meter antenna, not an 80-meter antenna. And surprisingly, the KX2, which is an incredible receiver, was receiving at about an S1. So if the KX2 is only hearing it at an S1 and this thing is hearing it comfortably, it lives up to its sensitivity. And it's a very, very simple kit to put together, runs on a 9-volt battery. What's missing right now is the key. There will be a key over here. And there's also an adapter that you can put a jack on it so that you can plug an outside key or keyer to it. But it has a straight key. Now, I saw Dave show the 4-state CW practice oscillator that has the same kind of key on it. It's made from circuit board material. And but this thing is a lot of fun. I get about a watt or so out of this thing. And I've made a few QSOs with it. And I'm just building the newer version and kind of comparing the two. The newer version is a little more liberal in terms of the crystals that it accepts. So I'll show you something else, Tom, and that is this. This is something that all kit builders ought to have plenty of, and I picked up a spool of this. This is about $24 for a spool this big. It's 50 foot of solder wick. And as you know, I build a lot and I do a lot of group kit builds. So consequently, I use a lot of solder and solder wick. But this is probably the best stuff that I use. It's MG Super Wick, and I use the number 453. And I picked that up at Fry's Electronics. Anybody who lives where there's a Fry's store knows that it's quite the place to go. And living in Nebraska, well, of course, we don't have that. Now we'll talk about another kit here. How many of these things you got lying around? This is a laptop power supply. And when the laptop shoots craps, you end up with these 19 point whatever volt power supplies. And I work in the IT business. So how many do you think I probably have in the office from people who've scrapped old laptops?
If you're like me, you probably have a box with maybe 100 in it.
Well, we've got quite a few.
Yeah.
And so I kept them. My boss wondered why I'm keeping them. I said, I don't know, but sometime I'll find a use. And by golly, I did. And this is another QRPkits.com kit. Now you can see the wires coming out of the side. That is the wires to that little power supply you just saw. It's a simple laptop power supply. This is called the Wart Tamer. And what this does is it has a full wave bridge rectifier. I don't know if I can get a better view.
Yep.
There you can see it. And there are three 2200 microfarad capacitors. So you got 6,600 microfarads of filtering, and you have a variable regulator. I think it's an LM317 on this end. I'm going to add a little heatsink grease to it because I believe in doing that to those. And so you have a little trim pot there, and you can adjust this all the way down to about a volt or a volt and a half, and all the way up to just about a couple volts or a volt and a half under the supply voltage, which in this case is about 19.8. And what it does is it not only regulates it and lets you set the voltage, but it filters a lot of the garbage out. Now, I was able to measure almost 50 millivolts of sawtooth wave coming out of this thing. And with this kit in there, it was not visible at all. There was still a little noise, but not nearly what you would have. In fact, my main bench power supply was noisier than the output of this. So it's well worth it. And I think this kit is either $15 or $20. I can't remember which, but it goes together quickly. This would be a good beginner's kit. And it, like I said, it'll make a useful power supply out of a laptop wall wart. And if you have a wall wart that puts out like 16 volts AC, believe it or not, it'll work with this too. In fact, you can't hook it up backwards because it is a bridge rectifier on the input. So if you happen to hook it up the other way, it still works and you still get your DC out and it's the correct polarity. So that's a really good low-cost kit, and that's from QRPKits.com, also known as Pacific Antenna, from Silicon Valley, and they were at the Yuma Ham Fest. So a great time was had there, and I've got some pictures of that as well. Any question on the kits, Tom?
No, I know that. Did I hear you say you got a micro BITX in the mail?
Well, it hasn't come yet. It is ordered, but it's on its way. And as far as I know, I haven't gotten the shipping notice yet. So I'm kind of one of those people that got in a little later, which means I'll probably get a newer rev of the board, but it's going to take a while to get it.
Well, it will show up, and I tell you what, you're going to find that is one of the most interesting little kits to build. And I call it a kit. It's kind of a semi kit because a lot of it's already built for you. The hard part's built for you, but still, it's a small challenge for people, especially if you don't have a lot of kit building experience, to put all the other parts into a enclosure.
Yep, exactly. So the challenge with that is the enclosure, and we'll come up with something hopefully that will work okay. We'll talk about the Yuma Ham Fest. Of course, all the people went to Orlando, and you had like 22,000 people. Let's scale that back down to about 2,000 people, and we'll go to way southwest Arizona. And it's a lot of fun. It's a great ham fest, and I know you've got a question. Whenever I go to a ham fest, what did I win? Right. I know that.
I got a question. Well, how much stuff did you win?
I won a couple of the hourly prizes. One was a gift basket of tools, and the other one was, I think, some small portable LED lights. And the main thing I won was a TS590 SG. Ooh. So that was pretty good. Now,
you won a 590G?
SG, yes.
They had a lot. I think they had a lot of nice prizes, didn't they?
Yeah, they give away 16 radios. 16 radios at this ham fest, and the top prize was a Flex 6700, I think, and worth $7,500. And they also gave away a 7610, and trying to think what else, but there was a lot of radios. Trust me.
Well, I
the majority of them were HF radios.
Yeah, I'd love to have a Flex. I really don't want to spend the money right now. I see Jeff in N3 VEs in here. I'm in his wheel. I was in his wheel. Now, I understand he's just now upgrading this week to a new Flex. I hope he gets the 6700. Jeff, if you're listening, please update the wheel.
Yep. So now we're going to try and share the screen here. So let's see what kind of mischief we can get in. And let's see. I'm going to have to... Okay, can you see my screen?
No, I don't.
You don't? Oh, okay. Then we're going to do that, and I'll bet you see my screen.
I see it.
All right. So now we're going to take a look. Once again, I have another kit, and this will be in the magazine pretty soon as well. This one is a frequency counter, and with the plastic case and everything, it sells for, I think, about $7 or $8. And the big yellow button on it actually is not used if you're just testing crystals. And you can see I have one of those little round crystals plugged into the socket down near the bottom.
Yeah.
Oops. No, we don't want that. And so this thing is designed to not only test crystals, but you can hook it into an oscillator like your VFO or something, and you can set an offset, and it has some standard offsets like 455 and 10.7 and so forth. And you can also do a custom offset. So you can use this as a digital display for one of these QRP radios that, or homemade radios, or an old radio that has a VFO but doesn't have a digital display. So that's pretty cheap, I'd say, for a digital display. And it runs on about 9 volts. Don't run 12 volts to it. It says it can, but it gets a little warm. So it's best to give it a good source of regulated 9 volts. That darn Wart supply that we talked about before, well, that would work wonderful. But it's, like I said, it's about $7 or $8 for this kit, and it goes together relatively easy and quickly. And it's a great addition to your shack for testing, like I said, testing crystals, or maybe adding a digital display to a radio. When I went to the Yuma Ham Fest, I kind of went on the cheap on the rental cars. So this is what we ended up with. That's what we ended up with, was the, oops, I didn't want to do that.
Well, what is that your new mobile rig? I mean, your mobile.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to get that out. There we go. Yeah, when you want to cross the desert from Phoenix to Yuma, you either got to drive 2.5 hours or take the ship of the desert. So, when you go to those car rental places, you got to find something cheap. Now, this is the mascot of the Yuma Ham Fest. That is the buzzard. The Ham Fest ends with the buzzard's BBQ, the big barbecue at the end. And after that, they give away more prizes than I think I've ever seen at any Ham Fest. They give away like about 60 or 70 hourly prizes, and what's left they give away at the banquet. They have over 25 hospitality prizes aimed at YLs. They also have the attendance prizes, which for the tickets, the main tickets, they give away a couple of tablets. And then they have the raffle prizes for the raffle for the 16 big prizes, and that's the big radios. So I've never gone to a Ham Fest before that it had its own built-in air show. And the reason is that the Yuma County Fairgrounds is directly across the street from the end of the runway at the Yuma Airport, which also doubles as MCAS Yuma, which is the Marine Corps Air Station. And so I saw Ospreys for the first time. I saw C-130s. I saw Harrier jump jets, and I think F-23s and a few others. Can't remember what this one is. But saw a lot of airplanes all weekend long. So if you want a Ham Fest that has its own built-in air show, this is the place to go. On Thursday night, I was invited to have dinner with the Crazies. And thank you to T. Michelle and Keith and the fine folks of the International Order of Crazies. I have not only been assimilated, but I am a vice president of the Crazies. So a great bunch of folks. You'll see them at Dayton. They used to be right next to you at Hare Arena, and they are in the flea market in Xenia. I don't know their booth location set for this year, but I'm sure I'll find out and pass the word. A great bunch of guys, and the IOOK travels on its stomach. They always go eat. In fact, they picked up lunch from In-N-Out, which is kind of a favorite place to go to when I get in that part of the country. And we had an In-N-Out lunch, and they had pizza and Golden Corral and Cracker Barrel and all the favorites. So they definitely travel on their stomach. They have some nice nets on Sundays on HF. And they have their own repeaters that they use at Hamvention and at other Ham Fests. In fact, they had one on while we were there in Yuma.
Well, I had,
this is,
I met.
This is, This is
met
a
with,
group shot of the Crazies.
let me go back
You
to
can
that.
see everybody there. And Jill made it all the way from Ohio. And
Yeah, Keith did. Keith.
took advantage of the fact that you could drive about 5 minutes to the Mexican border and park your car and walk across and get some neat souvenirs, some margaritas, and of all things, prescription medicines, which are a lot cheaper there than they are here. So it's a worthwhile time to go to Mexico. And like I said, it's a safe little border town. It's about 4 or 6 square blocks of dentists and doctors and opticians and souvenirs and pharmacies and liquor stores and bars. So it's kind of a touristy thing, and it's a lot of fun. Just make sure you got a passport to go in and out. They launched a balloon, and it had a 5 gigahertz signal with a little under a watt, and they were using a dish, and they were able to pick that up almost the entire flight. You could watch live video from this thing, and it was taking still pictures, which I haven't seen yet. But if you go to NEAR, NEAR, I think it is the Arizona balloon group, and they have the photos online. And it was great to watch it launch right in front of you. I was only like 15 feet away, and it went straight up, and got some nice pictures, and watched the live video from the balloon. And they recovered it in a place called Dateland, which was on the way between Phoenix and Yuma. It was about, I think, 20 minutes north of I-8 where it came down. This is the main hall, and you can see the banquet tables. You see chairs all lined up, and the exhibit booths are on the other half of the building, as you can see, farther to the north. And during the day, I don't think I've ever been to a ham fest that has more places to sit down and relax than this one. But the reason for these tables is, at the very end is the Buzzards Barbecue, where they give away all the prizes. And this seats about 450 people for the barbecue. So it's quite a banquet. This is what it looks like looking the other way from the exhibit side. And you can see lots of booths. And they also had a booth called the Country Store. And the Country Store is where you could bring stuff for them to sell for you, and the club takes like 10% or something like that. HRO was there. Wired Communications from Scottsdale was there with their low-cost cables and LED lights and parts and stuff, plugs and jacks, and you name it. Lots of good bargains there. There was, I think, 3 different multi-repeater link groups, including the Papa system, and I can't remember the other network. There was at least 3 networks represented, as well as the ARL, because this was the Southwest Division ARL convention. There was a nice flea market outside, typical Arizona winter weather. It was a little chilly in the morning, and when the sun came up and warmed up, it was in the lower 70s. Lots of neat stuff in the flea market. Always a good time to go to the Yuma Ham Fest. How about the 3 amigos that we usually see in Dayton? We have Brad and Perry and Rick from Phoenix, and they made the 2.5-hour trip to Yuma. How about this? That's Gordon West, and he was there. He made the trip over from Southern California, about 3 or 4 hour drive, and he was signing certificates for those who passed exams, and lots of people passed exams in Yuma. Now, he was kind of the highlight of the Ham Fest, I thought. This is the Southwestern Division Director, N6AA, and his ARL form was packed, and I will show you how packed. And he was the director that was censured by the ARL board for speaking up last year, and he had lots of things to say, and there is a YouTube video. You can see his entire presentation, so I won't go into a lot of details, but it is on YouTube. That's the crowd he had. In fact, his seminar was just after mine. I didn't have quite that many people for my seminar, but it was a lot of fun. The Buzzards Barbecue, Well, the word comes in by telephone, and this always fun. AC always has something fun to do just before the barbecue, and so it's always fun. A great time with a great bunch of people. This is everybody seated for the barbecue, and as you can see, 450 people packed into the other side of that same hall.
Do they,
How about that?
Hey, Joe.
A stage
Joe,
view.
Joe,
Yes.
do they serve you, or do you eat your own food and go be seated?
You go through a line, and it's
Okay.
all served by hams. The food is provided by a caterer, but it's served by members of the club.
Uh-huh.
And it's mostly pulled pork and barbecue chicken, and some rolls and some other some corn and other things, and some drinks, and that's pretty much it. Always a great fun time. Let's see. I think that's the end of my photos. So I will stop sharing and I will switch the camera back on. I think we're back on live, aren't we?
Yeah, you are. I was looking to see if Dave is still with us. I think Dave maybe dropped off. Dave, you're not here, are you? Or I think Dave dropped off. Yeah, that was a great recap there of the Yuma. The crazies, Keith there, Keith WA8ZWJ, came through Memphis on the way back, and I took him and Max K1MAX out to dinner at the Longhorn. I think we went and had a big steak and potato and everything, and had a good little visit there. So I think he went on back to Dayton area on Sunday of this past week, and he usually gets out, I think, to Yuma just about every year. So I can't believe you won a big prize and small ones. Boy, you're going to be at Huntsville, aren't you?
I hope so.
Okay.
I missed last year, and I'm not only going, but it looks like they want me to speak not once but twice during the weekend. So I'll be putting on 2 kit building seminars at Huntsville.
Well, the challenge is on for this next year. You and I are going to have a challenge to see who brings the most prizes out of there. Okay.
Yep, I'm up for the challenge and look forward to seeing you there, and look forward to always the fun time at Huntsville.
Yeah. Guys, y'all might not realize this, but every time Joe comes to Huntsville, he has to go to Walmart and buy suitcases so he can take home all his winnings.
Not every time, but
Yes.
but I've had to do that once.
Yeah, you've done that a few times, though. All right. Well, thank you very much, Joe, for that. And let's see, I've got something I want to show people here real quick. First of all, hey, I've got Daryl Young, K5DGY, coming on here, but we're not going to be able to bring him in for about another 10 minutes, I think. Let's give him a few more minutes to be ready. In the meantime, I got a couple things just to show you guys. First of all, hey, many of you following the Facebook page knew that we had a power outage this weekend. It was about 9 hours, and here we go again. This is coming in tonight, so we're supposed to get about 4.5 inches of rain tonight, and it should be starting probably within the next hour. So that's going to be interesting to see how that does. Today, Walter and I went over to a ham friend's house and shot a rope over a tree for him, so he could pull up his. He put a 40-meter delta loop up, so we did that today. I got a little short video to show you guys. It's like 1 minute long. My ham shack also doubles as the studio for the show. And the studio was right in the middle of my floor, and it was causing me terrible problems. I only had about this much area on my workbench I could get to easily, and it just, it wasn't very ham feeling, So I did some rearranging in here, and here's a little video just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm working with now and how it turned out. So Here we go. Okay, I want to give you a little tour of the new ham shack and studio. This is the entry door. Now we're into the combined studio and ham shack. I have much more room now after remodeling. The studio used to be right in the center of the floor, right there, and it caused me problems. I couldn't access my workbench, or it was getting in the way. The green screen was over the window. I could never tell if it was daylight or dark outside. Got much more room now. This is the operating position. And the other side, I've got workbench. It's 10 foot long. At my other home, it was 16 feet long, but I have a smaller room here, so I had to cut 6 feet off the workbench. Show you the studio, the new studio location now. There's the new studio. It's next to the ham operating position. And you can see that I have a lot of floor space here. A lot of floor space. I've opened up all this room now. So back over to the studio. There's a green screen we use quite often. And that's kind of a tour of the remodeled ham station and studio. All right, so you kind of saw what I have to work with here. Actually, since I moved this studio over to this end here and relocated the green screen, well, I've got a nice big room now. I can get to my entire workbench, and now I feel like working on projects, and it's just really cool now. I kind of like this. Saw someone mention, why not paint the wall? Well, you know, I thought about painting the wall. I mean, I could do that. It might look a little funny if I rearranged it again, but I could always repaint it. But yeah, a lot of people do paint the walls, and that would be fine. No, Kathy will let me, whatever I want to do back here. Kathy is very supportive. Anything I want to do in ham radio. She told me if I want to buy a new Flex 6700, just go out and get one, but I'm not going to do it because I'm in Jeff N3VE's will. Don't know how long he's going to be around, but still, I'm in his will, so someday I'll have me a Flex there. Someone made note that the fire extinguisher was the most important thing in the shack when I came in the door, and that's a halide fire extinguisher for electrical fires. Now, I've only had one electrical fire in here, is when I exploded a lithium-ion battery in here one day, but not really much fire, mostly smoke and fumes. But just to give it another minute or two before we call our next guest, I want to talk about halide. 35 years ago, I started working in an area called network control. It's in a computer system with Federal Express. Back then it was Federal Express. Today it's FedEx. But you know, we had raised floorings. It was a nice big computer operation, and you know, we had the false ceilings. But in there we had 3 big tanks that stood about 5 feet tall. They were about 2 feet in diameter, and they had halide gas in them. They had these solenoids on the top and hoses that went out under the floor and into the ceiling. And we would occasionally get a false alarm. The alarm would go off, I think we had something like 15 or 20 seconds to get over and abort it without it dumping. And every time they would come to work on it, we would ask them to say, now, be very careful with that thing. Are you sure you got the solenoids off the tanks, you know? Oh yeah, we got them off. Well, one time we had an alarm. It lasted about 1/2 second, and we dumped all 3 tanks of that halon in the room. And it was kind of funny. I never saw so much dirt that blew up from under the floor. I never saw so many ceiling tiles come out of the ceiling. And we even had one light fixture that kind of fell and dangled and hit one of the ladies in the head. And it was very emotional when that happened. And I ran up to those guys, and I think the halon changes your voice too, kind of like helium might. So I ran up to the guys and I said, I thought I told you to unhook that solenoid. And that's about all the voice I could get out. So we opened the windows, we let it air out. I'm sure the company replaced the halon that they dumped. And we all lived happily ever after. Of course, we evacuated the room as quickly as we could. Let me see if our next guest is here. I'm going to take a chance and see if Daryl is here. I'm a little bit early. He had some things he had to do, but we're going to see. I think we got him. Connection is a little slow, but I think it's going to work. Nope. Getting an internet error with him.
Well.
Hey, okay, stand by it, Daryl. It might still work. There you go. There you go, Daryl. Okay. Hey, guys.
Coming up.
Hey, guys. With us tonight, we've got Daryl Young, K5DGY. I'm assuming that's your initials, or you were just lucky.
Oh, I couldn't stand my original call sign, KF5FDU. So I went for vanity as fast as I could.
FDU. Hey, that reminds me, guys. Let me just make one quick announcement tonight. When you said FDU, K5FLU, Martin F. Jew, it's his birthday. I wish Martin was with us. We would all sing and say happy birthday to Martin F. Jew, the founder of MFJ, but he's not here tonight with us. Hopefully he'll be back with us next week, and Riley will be here next week. But happy birthday, Martin Jew, if you're watching out there. And back to you, Daryl. It's not your birthday, is it?
No, I've still got another month to go for my next one.
All right, another month to go. All right. Well, you know, one of the reasons, let me see if I can bring my picture in here on the top right there. Let's see. Let me just make a little adjustment here. Well, this may not work very good. Tell you what I'll do. I'm going to take me out. You know, one of the reasons I wanted to bring Daryl in here, he is active, I think, in our Facebook group, and he knows some of the guys that we talk to when we get on in the afternoon on 40 meter sideband. We try to announce and we get our group together. And they said, I ought to talk to Daryl because he's got so many awards and he's only a tech. And you know, I started looking at this and it was really interesting. Daryl has a tech license, but he has so many awards. He's got DXCC. He's got all kinds of awards here. And he's done so many things. He worked special stations, he worked space station, all. So Daryl, and that's not on CW, that's been on sideband, right?
Yes, sir. Every bit of it single sideband.
Yeah. Tell us how you do that on sideband.
Well, a biggest part of it was just solar conditions during that spell. I've got a solar cycle graph over here that I'm not going to try to move the camera over, but it started increasing in 2011. I got my ticket in 2010. It started going up in 2011, peaked up about shortly after the start of 2014, and then started back down. And that's when the bulk of my contacts were. So it's just tenacity and luck of solar.
Yeah. Now most of your contacts though have been on 10 meters.
Yes, almost everything.
And the conditions just haven't been good lately for 10 meters. Or are you occasionally still making some contacts, or are you focusing other places right now?
When 6 meters opens, I pick up some on that. I've got a couple on 2 meter sideband.
Oh.
But it's amazing how there's always still pretty good conditions whenever there's a special event in the United States. So I do pick up one once in a while.
Well, you know that brings up a good point. You know, a lot of times it sounds like the bands are dead, but I guarantee you, if there's a contest or something special going on, the bands become undead. Have you noticed that?
Absolutely.
So I don't know what's happening here. Let me just scroll through some of your QSL cards here. I want to show people just just some of the interesting things. I mean, contacts, the DX contacts. Let's see. Delta Papa 6, HK zeros, IZs, FBs. Gee, I hadn't even heard of some of these. What's that? B0QN. There's a Germany, France, I guess. You've got cards from just about everywhere, man, and you did that all on 10 meters.
Yeah,
so that's really cool. Now, in addition to 10 meters, you also worked at VHF and some other things, and you've got. Well, before we jump into that, I've got a picture here. Here's your DXCC certificate. All right, so I don't even have one of these. I need to get me one. I probably have worked that many countries. I've just never had the energy to send them in. So there's a DXCC certificate.
I didn't know there was that many countries in the world.
Yeah, I don't know how many there are. They're probably close to 300 countries, I guess.
I've got a
now here's a little. Here, what is this here? Centennial Points Challenge Award.
That was when the ARRL was celebrating their 50 years, 100 years. Yeah, 100 years.
Yeah.
I was able to class in second place anyway.
Yeah.
Second level anyway.
And here's kind of a list of some of your confirmed contacts. Man, look at that list, man. It actually goes A to Z. I don't think you missed anything. Wow.
There's a couple of them. Luxembourg is an extremely hard from what I've heard.
Oh yeah.
And I've got Luxembourg in there.
It's a small country, yeah. There's some of your certificates and things you have up on the wall there. Is this a special card right here? What is this? W7ORC. Oh, that's the Hoover Dam.
Yes, sir. No, it's the not the Hoover Dam. It's Grand Coulee.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, so do you focus in on trying to work a lot of these special event stations when you can?
Whenever I can. Yeah, when the conditions are good, I'm going to go after them every time. I love cool. Special events.
So, and there's one special contact I'm sure that you probably cherish. This one right here.
You know it.
And who was it? Was it Doug you talked to?
Yes, sir.
I tell you, Doug was on there all the time, man.
Yes. There was nothing to work him 3 times a day.
Oh yeah, and I also worked him 3 times a day, a lot of days, and I worked him 3 times driving home from work. I mean, this guy was on all the time. Hey, let me just say one thing about Doug. I talked with Doug this week. Doug is planning to try to join us again at Hamvention this year. Now, I know I probably shouldn't be talking a lot about this because we're, 3 months away, and an astronaut doesn't know where they're going to be in 3 months. He could be on Mars, he could be on the moon, who knows where he could be. But he has it planned, a planned trip up there, and if things work right, he'll be with us. So for any of you guys that know, just like Daryl and I have talked with him and know Doug, if you work Doug and you're dating, be sure and come by and get your picture made with him there. So, so Daryl, you're
If you got a second, I got
Yeah.
some of my choice of QSL cards I'd like to put up.
go right ahead.
Let's see if I can get it. Tell me if you can see it all right.
Yeah, pretty good.
This one up here, it was not actually from Antarctica, but it was in recognition of Antarctica. So it kind of throws you. I like my koala bear. It's a guy from, I need to change my eyeglasses. I can't read the stinking thing. Queensland, Australia. Coco Island is one of the most sought after DX expeditions that you can find. K1 Navassa down here in the corner. All these are special events or the expeditions that I've worked. I'm not going to go through every one of them. I'm just going to show you the cards. And then if you know Tim Allen's,
Yeah.
I got two of his Case 6H special event cards.
Uh-huh.
Down here we have the Luxembourg card that I was telling you about. Samoa, there's several places, but I thought these were my three choicest QSL cards that came through the bureau.
Well, those are really cool. Hey, I swapped lapel mics. Bill was saying I might have been having trouble with my last mic, so I have changed here. Hey, very good on the last man standing and those special cards there. I mean, that is some interesting things to do and work. And hey, that show is gone now, so nobody's really going to get a chance to do that anymore.
That was not right, but that's what happens when the last man stood.
Yeah, I actually, I don't know if you sent your card out. My card was actually up on the wall there for several of the shows. Every now and then I could watch TV and I could see my card there, but it wasn't up there all the time. But we were lucky enough, we got to take the webcast out there, and I met Tim, and we broke the news on this show that Tim got his license. So that was kind of cool.
I loved it.
Yeah, he didn't want to tell anybody he had got his license, but I said, "Man, Tim, it's public information. People are going to find out,
Right.
So what are your plans? You still looking for special events and things like that are going on? Do you monitor 10 often to see if it's open?
Well, there's just been so much. I was telling you the other day about the turn my mother took a couple of years ago, and she's pretty hands-on. That having to take care of. I'm caregiver for my mother. Most time is tied up with that till bedtime. And after 10 o'clock, you're not going to do 10 meters very much. So
yeah, well,
I do what I can. If I have a helper that comes through that you met the other day. She can take care of Mom, and I can get down here if there's anything going on. I can jump on and we can have some fun with it.
Well,
not a whole lot right now.
Well, I tell you what, Daryl, thanks a lot for showing us what a tech can do, man. I mean, some people think a tech's limited and he can't do that. You've got more certificates and QSL cards there on the wall than I've got.
Well, I appreciate that. It's I listen to people all the time talking about how, I can't wait to get my general ticket so I can get on HF.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to be on the rest of my HF. I've got two nice rigs. I've got my 736 behind me, my 746 over here. I think I got the camera a little too high to see them right now, but I've got the bands covered. I just need to be able to find the time to get my studying done, upgrade to general, and start playing with the rest of those bands.
Well, I think you'll get there. You got plenty of time to work on it, and we wish you and your mom the best there. We all know what it's like, to have parents, and we're going to all take care of them.
Yeah,
thanks a lot.
What I have to do, but I remind her that you did me 60 years ago. So
yeah.
Well,
thanks, Daryl, so much for showing us and talking to us about being a tech and working in the world. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Tom. Y'all take care.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
All right, guys. Well, we're just about on time tonight. We're just about doing good. It's about, well, what is it? It's 9:20. It's reasonable hour. And let me throw this back on, guys. There we go. There's Sam. There's Sam Jones, KE0IAA. Got her extra class Saturday. She got her tech in 16. She got her general in 17. She got her extra in 18. I don't know what she's going to get in 19, but I think she's moving toward it there. So we congratulate Sam there for getting her license there, her extra license. All right, guys. Well, hey, that's pretty much the show we've got tonight. Now, next week we're going to have Riley with us. Now, next week, I don't know if we have a lot of questions for Riley. Well, I've sent him a few. But next week, Riley says he's going to preach. So if you want to hear Riley Hollingsworth, he's the retired special counsel to the FCC, and he was responsible for enforcement. Tune in next week and hear Riley Hollingsworth preach. We'll try to get Martin Jew back on here with us next week. We gave Martin, one night off so he could kind of do whatever he had to do there. Let's open up Hangout. Open up Hangout and see if anybody wants to join us. So, hey guys, the official show's over, but we're not going to turn the video off. The unofficial show starts now, and that is what we call Hangout. If somebody will post the link in the chat room, we'll bring up Hangout. Now what Hangout is if you've got a camera and a microphone, you click on that link. You click on a link and you can join us, and we'll put you right here on the show. Your video, your audio, everything. And Hangout is where we can get up to about 10 people. We're all sitting around a coffee table, and we're going to talk about anything and everything. Ham radio, airplanes, doctors. We've got a doctor that used to be in there with us. And I think we got too much medical information from him, so he quit coming to the Hangout. No, actually, he moved to the VA and has to get up early now, so he can't join us late at night. But anyway, that was Papa Doc out there. All right, so I'm gonna bring up Hangout. Did somebody put the link in? Somebody put the link in the link is up at the top at the topic. You'll see the link up at the topic over the chat room. And I don't see anybody in there yet. Let me see if I can post the link. Oh, there's Jeff. Jeff's in here. Let me see if I can bring Jeff in. There we go. There we go. There we go. We got Jeff in there.
Geez, I thought I had to do this tonight.
Yeah. Did anybody post the link? I didn't see it.
Yes.
Oh, they did? Okay. All right. Very good. All right. Hey, just one quick question, man. I mean, I hate to bring this up on the show, but have you did you get that? Did you get the thing updated? The wheel updated?
But
Wait. First, have you got the new radio yet?
No.
Okay.
Geez, I thought I had to do this tonight. Did anybody post the link? I didn't see it. Someone's got to turn on your audio.
Okay. Chris.
I hate to bring this up on the show.
Hey, Jimmy.
That's not Chris. That's
you guys need to turn on your audio.
Ken.
Wait. First, have you got the new radio yet?
Ken, you've got to mute the audio on the show.
You need to turn off your web browser from the first.
Somebody's going to mute the show.
That's Ken in Odessa. You need to mute the audio on the show. Guys, we'll get this under control in a minute.
Can we boot them out of the picture? Can we boot them out?
I don't think there's any way to do it.
Not that I want to boot anybody.
They took that away.
Let's see.
Yeah, they took that away. All right, there we go. Ken, boy, I was fixing to throw a dart at you, Ken. You were putting feedback on the show. You were wiping everybody out, man. You got to mute the video from the show when you come on Hangout.
Close the show page or mute the video on the show page, and then you won't cause a problem. So yeah, no, Tom, I don't have the new radio yet. It is supposed to ship probably in the week, this week or next week, and I'll be selling the 6700 if anyone's interested.
Well, you know, I'd have to buy a computer to go with it. I mean, I got a bunch of computers, but I'm sure it'd take a pretty good computer to go with it. But most of the
computing's done in the radio. That's what's so cool about Flex radios in the 6000 series.
Yeah, I'll just wait and get the new one you're getting. Hey, when you do that update in the wheel, make sure the computer goes with it.
You need the computer to go with it? All right.
Yeah.
No problem. My buddy Jim that comes with me to Ham Fest, he's in charge of anything, if I drop dead, he's in charge of distributing all the ham equipment, so you'll be fine.
Well, look, as long as it's in writing there, and I would like you to go ahead and send me another copy of the latest.
I'll send you an updated copy, the same as I sent the last one.
All right, very good.
Hey, Jeff, I got a question for that specific radio. Are you using the SDR software?
Well, for the Flex radio, we use the Smart SDR. Yeah. That's the software the only software that runs with it.
Oh, there's a Smart? I didn't know that. Yeah. I know there was a SDR type thing there that we had. I don't know. We had the cheap one. What was it? $3,000 one there. Cheap.
Well, I mean, was it the Flex radio?
What is it?
Was it made by Flex?
Yeah, it was the bottom line. It was the 1500 maybe 1600.
The 6300.
Yeah, something like that.
It runs the same.
No. It was a cheap one.
Oh, the older version.
The initial one that came out.
Oh, okay. No, that runs Power SDR, which actually is a more refined software. A lot of guys running Smart SDR with the newer 6000 series radios. It had the capabilities that old Power SDR had. They're working on it.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if that answered your question.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
I was going back and looking through the chat room here. There's so much going on here. Well, anyway, I wonder what the latest weather is here. I haven't looked outside. I'll imagine.
At least you can look out the window now, Tom, and see if it's raining.
I can get to.
It's going to rain, Tom.
I can get to my window now.
Hey, Tom, tell us about the tornado that happened by your place the other night, man. Everything work out okay?
Yeah, I don't think it was a tornado. It was like an EF2 straight line winds. It actually ripped roofs off buildings. Did a lot of damage in two cities across the river. I didn't really feel the brunt of the storm here like that. We did lose power for about 8 hours. We ran on a generator for about 3 or 4 hours, and when it was bedtime, I just turned the generator off and we went to bed.
Tom, are you in a new home?
Well, I moved. I moved this home about 5 years ago.
Oh, okay, but it's the same house. But you said you had, I guess, rearranged your shack.
Yeah. The studio was right in the center of the floor, butting up against the center of the workbench, and I had about 2 feet of workbench to work on. Now I got my 10-foot bench back.
Do you talk to your friend Walt about weather? I mean, he must know a whole lot about weather.
Oh, Walter. Well, of course he's a pilot, and they've got this little app. I think I got the same app that FedEx uses to bring the weather up, and we've got our own weather department and everybody out there, and Walter, he could tell you the weather. I didn't hear from.
Hate to be a critic, but it sounds like your mic is dying again.
I was going to say something about your audio also, but I wasn't sure.
Well, it may be clipping, or is it
your
clipping?
Internet connection.
Is it clipping, or the audio meter here shows it looks pretty good? Are you not hearing me?
You're underwater.
Okay. Well, let's do this.
Evening, all.
Let's do this. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That'll fix it.
Can you hear me?
That'll fix it.
Oh, yeah.
You need to get old Bob Heil to get you some good microphoneage going over there, Tom.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, see,
It is a Heil mic.
Yeah.
in fact, this is the PR35. I think Jim, is it Jim on here? You got a PR35, I think.
2 of them.
Yeah, I've got a couple of PR35s. This is a mic. Bob always says this is the mic. This is his pro mic. He says this is the one Charlie Daniels and Carrie Underwood. And he names off 50 people. And I said, Bob, next time you tell that story, please add my name to it. Tell them I used the mic too. It's a good mic, though. It's a good mic.
This is a Carrie Underwood special right here.
Yeah. You know,
Carrie
it's a
Underwear.
good mic. We found out that, like in Dayton, let me tell you, when we were in the Silver Arena, it would be, with all the people talking, it would be so noisy in there. If I was interviewing somebody, I almost couldn't hear them. But these microphones are so selective. If you talk right into it, you never heard all that noise in a Silver Arena, which we almost couldn't hear over, you know. So they did a good job.
And Bob's a nice guy too. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Now he's very opinionated. But why shouldn't he? Why shouldn't he be?
Let me get you.
Yeah, he
I
can
think
be.
when these guys get to the $100 million worth level, they start caring what other people think and just share their opinion.
I hardly believe he's worth that much money. Trust me. That's just that's not in that business. 10 million maybe, but not 100 million. That's outrageous money if you're talking.
Well,
Wait a minute. Is that Emil, the cheapo man down there?
who?
Do I see Emil? There he is. I see him. He's smiling.
Let's see who we got in here tonight.
He's from Mississippi.
Let's see who we got in here tonight. Who's that Emil? Who's Emil?
Yes.
He's the handsome guy there, third from the end, Tom.
Yeah. Well, he's fourth on the end of mine. Do I know Emil? Emil? Hi, Emil.
He played on Amateur Logic there with George Thomas and Tommy.
Okay, yeah. I know who he is now. Yeah. All right, let's see who else is in here. We got 3 Bills in here tonight. The Bill, I was going to say with the earphones, but we got 2 with earphones on tonight.
Yeah, I got my earphones on too.
Not you, Bill. Bill, William.
Yes.
The NE4. You're going to be Bill 3 tonight, okay?
No, I don't know if I can do that.
Bill 3.
I can't.
All right, Bill up in,
I'll be Bill 3. Let him be Bill 1 as he always is.
All right, Bill up in Massachusetts. Bill. You're Bill number 2, okay?
There you go.
All right, now the other Bill.
Okay.
Who's the other Bill there? The other Bill. That Bill. That guy right there. Who's that?
That's me.
The voice of hope.
W4EWH.
You're Bill 1, okay?
Suits me just fine.
You're Bill 1, okay. All right. So let's see what we got here.
Who's this guy, Jim?
What was that?
Jim, say hello.
Where's Jim?
Hello, NO1PC.
There he is.
What flex are you running? I'm looking at your laptop, so you're spinning the dial.
6300.
53. Very good. Yeah, Tom needs that. You need to put that in your will for Tom.
No.
All right.
I don't know who it's going to. It's a refurb. I had a 3000 before, and I tell you, there's a world of difference. It's like going from a TS 520 to a 3000, and this is another quantum leap going to the 6300. It's just an incredible radio.
They are amazing. I have the 6700, and I've had it since it first came out. And I just don't use all the features that I'm not a contester. I bought it because it was the greatest and best that they sold. So I'm selling it, and my 6600M, it should be on its way in the next week or 2.
Oh, excellent.
And if there's a 7800, I'll buy that next. Who knows?
There's
a question for you guys.
700s at a DX. There's a kind of a novel DX remote DX operation on a hilltop out here. It's got a tower. They had an 80-meter foursquare that just got blown over in recent winds, but they've got a couple of alpha amps, 6700, a ton of DX engineering switches and gauges and all this kind of stuff, and it's completely remote. There isn't a single knob in the shed where the stuff's locked up. They just run it on their Macs or their iPads, and that's the coolest thing about this, Tom. There's no computing involved in this. It's you can run this thing on an iPad.
But are they willing all of their stuff over to Tom when they're all dead?
Well, so far, I'm not doing too good on that. Hey, let me say hi. Let me say hi to Ed.
No one's kicked the bucket, Tom.
Let me say hi to Ed, WB5ORT in the chat room here. He's talking about he worked for Teletype Corporation. Ed, I started off in the Air Force as a teletype repairman and worked a lot on teletype gear, both on Teletype brand and Kleinschmidt. And I worked on the Model 28 ASRs and KSRs and all that stuff, and the Kleinschmidt. I don't remember the numbers now, but that was
no 15s or 19 Toms.
You know, we didn't have any 19s or 15s in the Air Force. We'd already gone to the newer stuff, but I did personally have a 15. Several 15s for a while, and I even moved up to, you know, when you have a Model 28 ASR in your shack, that sucker's about 4 feet long and it's about 4 feet tall. Clang, 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 clang.
Yeah.
You know, that's a lot of hardware in your shack, you know, and I used to have that and all kinds of stuff, and even worked on the model, the 35, I think.
33?
I mean, well,
35.
the 33, the 33. The 33 was a little plastic 8-bit machine. The 32 was actually used. Western Union had them. They were telexes, and they were 5-bit, you know, punch 5 holes. And after I got out of the Air Force, I worked for Western Union for about a year and worked on the 32s and 33s. Of course, the Air Force.
Well, the problem with the 33 and the 32 is that they were designed for Teleplex and for Twix.
Yeah.
And people started attaching them to computers and running them 12 hours a day.
Oh,
They were only rated 1,500 shaft hours before major overhaul because they were designed for Twix and Telex, and that was how they got the bad reputation.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
hey, did
I
you
used to
guys
fix
know that
Model
somebody said in
33s.
chat that the Hangout call is full? I didn't know the Hangout room could get full.
Is it full?
Yeah, it caps out at about 10, and then if people don't disconnect properly, it'll just kind of lock up some of the slots.
3,
You snooze, you lose, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
4, 5,
Yeah.
6, 7, 8.
So Tom, why are you moving into building 2, man? That building is hotter than hell.
Well, I need more space, so I'm getting that entire.
He's by the door, though.
I'm getting
He's
that
lucky
entire.
he's
I'm
by
getting
the
that
door.
entire corner. I'm getting the entire corner there.
Yeah.
It'll be about 25 feet long, and I've got a door on both sides of me. So it should.
That building was like the heat locker, man.
Is that where the ARL was?
Yeah, it was horrible.
I know that. Hey, I went in that building on Thursday last year, and it must have been 122 in there. But
yeah, poor Kay Craigie was in there, handing out handshakes and smiles and stuff like that, and she looked like she was about ready to die.
Yeah, it was definitely bad that first day. Of course, you know, we bought fans and stuff. We'll take our fans back with us. I think we'll have enough ventilation. We'll probably.
Yeah, but you won't have those really cool neighbors, you know.
I won't have the cool neighbors, the Linux.
See you, Bill. Don't worry.
I won't have the Linux. What is it, Linux and ham radio, or what?
Linux in the ham shack.
Linux in the ham shack. I won't have those cool people next to me.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
We'll miss you.
But I won't be that far away.
Yeah, but you'll be too far to throw peanuts at over
Yeah.
there.
One of the things I'm considering this year again
Well,
is
it'll be closer to our K2 BSA booth. That's going to be over in building 2.
K2 BSA is in there. ARL's got a massive area. ICOM's in there. I think there's a small HRO in there. Somebody else.
Yeah.
But you know, one of the,
and I think you had ELAD was in the corner too.
Icom all over your feet. It's hard to get off.
Yeah, one of the things we're going to try to focus on more this year is, of course, those buildings have a covered walkway. They've got a concrete walkway between them, and they've got a cover. I think it's going to be possible this year. I'll take some extra stuff up here, and hopefully we'll be able to have a rolling reporter roll a cart with camera and stuff into the other two buildings.
Yeah.
And the only thing, the building we were in, it was like gravel from there to the next building or something, or I mean, it was a long ways. I think this will be better. It'll get us closer.
You'll be able
What's the matter with walking on the gravel, Tom?
What was that, Ken?
I said, what's the matter with walking on the gravel?
Well, I've got a little
With the
mobile.
cart.
I got a video.
With all the cameras and
Yes,
computer equipment,
computers,
doesn't need to be bouncing
batteries,
around. There's
batteries.
pavement between 1, 2, and 3,
Right.
and then there's a street there, so you don't have to really go out in the gravel, as far as I'm aware, to hit any of the buildings.
Oh, really?
Well, he's on the end of the apron there that faces the food vendors there, so he can send somebody that's sitting in a chair out to grab him a cup of coffee
another
if
thing,
he needs one.
Yeah, another thing.
it
was a good little walk from there over to the three buildings, and of course, if it's raining, there's no way we're going to get out with the equipment and roll it across here. So, anyway, we're gonna give it a try.
They put you in the building with the half moon on the door.
Yeah, well, that's right next to us. It is. Let me see. Let me pull a picture up.
Need to flip in that AM element. Get off that DX element there on the headset.
Okay, there we are, and you see on the bottom of that building too. That is the bathrooms right there in the center, right there.
Yeah.
So this will be close to the bathrooms.
You got a nice smell from there. It'll be great.
Hey, put that back up, or like.
What was that?
Oh, I just wanted to see that again. Okay, so.
Let me see if I can do something.
Yeah, it's good. Like I double clicked on your.
Oh, yeah. Let's see if I can enlarge a little.
Isn't that where the ARL was?
The ARL
no,
right
they're
here.
on the left.
The ARL.
They're in the same spot.
No, but is that where they were last year?
Yeah.
Same
They're
place.
same spot.
Yeah.
So you've got you can't see my mouse here. You've got ICOM up in the top top.
Yeah, top right
top
there.
Right.
You had Begali at the 2307,
Yeah, Begali's in
2407.
here. Yeah. Last year, I think they had some robotics here. I don't remember it.
I think Flex wasn't Flex in there at 21?
Flex is in the top left corner.
Yeah, they were in the top left.
There you go, Tom. You can just walk across the building and grab you a new Flex.
Yeah, I'll try to do that.
I'll have a big.
All you got to do is walk up there and say, "Hi, I'm W5KUB. If you don't want a bad reputation, give me a new Flex."
I tell you what.
With my reputation, that would depend on how fast I could run.
Jeff on here. Jeff N3VE. Okay, yeah, Jeff N3VE, Jeffrey on here. He did a great interview with Flex last year, and it's on our website. And it's man, it was a good video.
Well, this year, Tom, we're gonna go by together, and we're gonna take one of those new Flex radios and put it right in the cart and just keep going.
All right. Well,
there you go. Send some boys over there with a couple of baseball bats and get it New York style or Chicago style or whatever.
No, this is all tongue in cheek.
You realize
this is all tongue in cheek. Come on, this is all tongue in cheek.
Yeah, you realize the guys from Flex are from Texas. They're probably carrying.
Yeah,
they are. They are.
Yeah, but if they're like 90% of the people I know that carry, they can't hit the broadside of a barn.
Well,
let's play Jim Jeffries' video and get them laughing, then we'll walk out.
Down here, we don't carry down here. We pack down here. We're packing down here.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He packs everything he has to take.
Well, now, gentlemen, I gotta go to work in the morning, so I'm gonna say 7-3. Tom, talk to you later. See you.
All right.
Night, Jeff.
All right, man.
Yeah, see you,
Bill.
Good night.
7-3.
See you guys. 7-3.
All right.
Hey, Bill, stop the heavy breathing.
You had a full load, Tom, tonight.
I did a
you
what?
had,
Oh,
yeah. The whole thing was full. I came in, it said, channel's full.
Yeah, it's starting to fill up, but if you get in now, you got to get in quick.
Hey Tom, do you know how many people you had in chat watching the show tonight?
I don't know. Kathy's got those numbers upstairs. She usually monitors that. I have no idea.
She don't leave him know.
I'll look in a minute. It was probably pretty good. Probably consecutively, the numbers were around. I'll say 140.
But you're more than that.
But that's consecutively. That's the maximum number of people at the same time. When I go back and look at the statistics on YouTube later, we'll have 350 people that come and go during the hour.
So you can look at the analytics awesome. And see in that hour how many were in and out. And I assume, I think you can tell where they came from, even what country or what. I don't know what state.
Yeah, I mean, I can't work the Google Analytics that well, but it'll even tell you which one of them are eating a peanut butter sandwich.
Mark, were you eating a peanut butter sandwich?
Yeah. No, we had hamburger tonight.
I think Bill was over there.
That sounds good. Hey guys, I cut back about 8 days ago. I cut back from 6 meals a day to only 2 a day. Right now I'm having breakfast and I'm having dinner. I haven't had my dinner yet, and I'm craving a peanut butter sandwich. No in between meals, no peanut butter. I think I'm gonna have a peanut butter tonight, man.
That's not.
And I've lost about 8 pounds, so I'm down a little bit. My goal is to try to lose maybe 20. Yeah.
I lost about 8 pounds in the room across the hall here about 2 hours ago. So that's all right.
Oh, the little room down the hallway.
Oh man.
That's called the little room down the hallway.
Well, that will help, But I've never
This is
lost
the
20
season when
pounds.
wives decide on diets, and they mostly decide on diets for their husbands.
Yeah.
Not mine. She comes in and she says, what do you want for dinner, honey? She's trying to fatten me up. I think she's waiting for November to clean and cook me over here.
Oh, you think nasty.
Oh, we'll see you later, Tom.
I might make a good turkey dinner. You never
Bill.
Bill 3, sorry to break that news on you, but we are moving out.
That's okay.
We'll come over and see you, and you guys come over and see us, okay?
We sure will. Take care.
All right, we'll see you. Good night.
Good night, Tom. I got to check out myself.
Yeah, Kathy just posted in the room there. She said 140, so I guessed right. I had no idea, but
hey, Tom, you do good guessing.
We did what?
You do good guessing.
Yeah, it was a good guess.
Mark, would you fold your mic down? You're real hard to hear.
You say I'm hard to hear?
No, Mark has got his boom mic flipped up to the back, and I can't hear him real well.
Oh, that guy wasn't planning to talk tonight.
A couple of people in the chat room.
How does it sound now?
A couple of people in the chat room were saying I was weak. Of course, I'm not very close to this. I back away from this mic. That's why I like to try to wear the lapel mic during the show. It pretty much keeps equal distance. But if I'm using this desk mic here, I'll turn my head like this and look at something, or turn back over here, and I have much more problems keeping audio level.
Yeah, they have that same problem on a lot of the guys that report on the various streaming networks now. They're using iPhones and whatnot, and the microphone's part of the earphone cord, and every time they turn, and then you have to wait till they get back here before you can hear them. Well, good night, guys. I got to check out myself. Spoonbo says it's time for bed.
Well, Bill, hey,
Bill,
Bill 1. What's your call, Bill?
Whiskey 4 Echo Whiskey Hotel.
Okay. All right. I got you.
Oh, I think the microphone's in the computer because I don't have the microphone plugged in.
You don't have the mic plugged in? Well, that's why it's not working.
Well, the laptop. This is the Lenovo.
Good night, gentlemen.
Well, the Lenovo has a single jack because the notebook and a combo notebook and a tablet type thing. They only have one jack, so you have to get a combo. I have to look to see if they make a combo jack to go in there that would take the or else I have to find I got headsets that are Bluetooth.
Well, you know, Mark, if you take that Lenovo and huck it up against that wall behind you, it'll fix it.
Hey guys, Walter. I see Walter joined us in the chat room here. You got everybody say hi to Walter.
Hey, Walter.
He's on standby. He's on standby.
Hey, Walter.
So I don't know if he had to go fly that plane tonight or not.
Well,
They probably cancel flight operations because of the storm.
We don't cancel for stuff like that. We fly right through it.
FedEx?
Yeah, we got.
Really?
They got. What is it? What do you call it? Cat 5 or whatever, or is it Cat 1? Maybe I'm mixing it up with a cable. I don't know. But they, I mean, those planes, they'll just about land themselves, man. I tell you.
Well, you see that car, 5 weeks, they made a car overseas that they made it drive itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fixing to have those in California.
Yeah, I mean, hey, those pilots, this stuff doesn't bother. I mean, hey, I flew over to England. And I was sitting right behind, in a DC-10, I was sitting right behind the pilot in the cockpit flying to Stansted, England. And we started coming down. Oh, by the way, as we were going over the ocean, the guy told me to get in the left seat. So I told him, I didn't want to. He said, I'd just sit down. So I got in the left seat, man. I really wasn't flying, but I was in the pilot seat, He left for about 30 minutes. anyway, it was, we had a co-pilot. I'm sure the co-pilot was awake. But anyway, so we're coming into Stansted, man, and it's foggy. And, we're down to, I'm watching the altimeter or whatever, man, and, we're down to like 900 feet, man. We're socked in. I can't even hardly see the windshield wipers on the window. We're down to 800, 700, 600. You can't see 1 inch out the window. 500, 400, 300. And I'm thinking, man, where I grew up, we got trees that are 200 foot tall. We got down to 300. We got to 250. We got to 200. You still couldn't see 1 inch out of that, man. And I don't know, man. It's funny. We hit 199, and it's like they turned the lights on, and it became completely clear, and we were perfectly lined up, and we landed on this very, very short runway. But hey, boy, that was my exciting time that night.
Hey, it all works out when it works right.
And you know what?
Yeah, if it don't work right, you know it pretty quick.
And hey, let me tell you. And who was the newscaster? Let me tell you the rest of the story. While we were at Stansted,
that's Paul Harvey.
Yeah,
Paul Harvey.
Let me tell you the rest of the story.
And day.
While we were parked there at Stansted, and from there we were going to fly down to Brussels, Belgium. And while we were parked there, this truck comes up that's got this little rail around the back. It's a food truck or something, or, they're service people. And they lifted that back of that truck up, and that rail cut a hole through the side of the plane. Well,
don't they call that the honeypot or something?
I don't know. So anyway, the pilots looked at it, and they tried to get somebody. They found somebody, I think, who just got out of school. Was on standby, and he said he thought it'd be okay to fly. So anyway, Memphis thought it'd be okay. So anyway, they put duct tape over it, and we flew that thing on down to Brussels. And here we go again, fog again, and we're landing, but I mean, before we start landing, I hear on the radio they're talking to the air traffic control in Brussels, and the air traffic control says the airport is closed. But they said, you can try to land if you want to. This is a true story, man. So anyway, we landed in Brussels in fog. And I think a week later,
that's when you reach over and put out the Benson and Hedges and throw your scarf back and say, "Here we go, baby."
I think a week later, I was going to catch another jump seat plane back to the States, and that same plane came here to pick me up. Still had the duct tape on the side of it. Now, that plane had a name. It was called the Salty Dog. The Salty Dog. And I asked them why. And we had bought that plane from some airline. This plane, maybe a year or two earlier, somewhere up in the Northeast. I'm not that familiar with the airports, Bill. I don't know if it's LaGuardia or somewhere, but that plane had actually gone off the runway into the water several years earlier as a commercial airline, and it had the name Salty Dog.
Well, I think that'd make me a little bit on the nervous side there, Tom. Yeah, we gonna fly this plane over here. We don't care if it's got a little extra saltwater ballast or not.
Yeah. Oh well, but hey, that's just some exciting memories.
Bush pilots do up there in Alaska.
Yeah. Let's see. Walter's in a chat room. I'm sure he's probably heard me tell that story before, but we got a real FedEx pilot in the chat room there. That's in R3E. So let me see if he's commenting on my story. Okay, Walter says the MD-11 is limited to 300 RVR. What is that? What's an RVR? I have no idea. Anybody know? Walter, you're going to have to tell me. Yeah, RVR. Let's see. Airbus certified for 0, whatever that means. Runway visual range. 300-foot runway visual range. I have no idea.
You know, when the pilot is sitting there telling you any landing is a good landing as long as you can walk or swim away from it,
yeah,
gives you a lot of confidence, don't it? I'm going to get you on the ground. You may not like it, and you may have to swim a couple of miles, but by God, we're going to land this thing one way or another.
Yeah, Walter says he shot a 200-foot in a 1.5 mile approach in Harlingen, wherever that is. Harlingen, I guess that's out in California or somewhere.
Texas?
Texas. He did that last week.
That's over by Dallas. Yeah, I wonder if NR3E, since he's the FedEx pilot, I wonder if he gets back there and kicks the boxes that say Ameritron on the side of them.
I
give it another few extra kicks, man. FedEx, I tell you what, I've sent 3 or 4 amps back to Martin Jew, and his guys fix them up. But boy, FedEx sure don't give him an easy ride coming back.
Yeah. Or Walter says that was Texas, so that's where it was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure he didn't go back here, but hey. Might have to go back here and kick something sometime. I mean, boy, we've carried baby chickens. They'll get out and run all over the airplane, Carried horses. I think they've carried horses, maybe elephants. I don't know, bears.
Oh Lord.
What's that Chinese? What's that Chinese bear?
It's a panda.
Panda. Yeah, we've carried the pandas, I think, on there. And,
they send them FedEx?
Huh? Yeah, we've shipped them. Yep. Well, it was a special. I mean, we'll ship just about anything, I guess. I'm sure it was a specially arranged flight, But we've carried horses on there, and they'll have a horse handler that stays back in the back with the horses.
Probably sits back there and sleeps.
Yeah. Oh wow. He might have to keep a shovel and a bucket back there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a crappy job, ain't it?
Yeah.
Well, did you guys miss me last week? I was sitting here dying last week, so I didn't make the chat or anything else, man. And watching the program on YouTube afterward just ain't the same.
I saw you post you'd been real sick, man. I hope you're getting to feel better.
This stuff that's eating me away, there's no way to get feeling better. I'm still alive. I'm still as ornery as I'm ever going to be.
Well, Hey guys, maybe we'll let's all get together on 40 meters next day or two, and we'll post it in the Facebook group. And we've been having a good little get together.
Yeah, we ought to get together on 7200 and drive the Outlaws off of there.
We got Douglas. No. We got Douglas in here, but
no.
he doesn't have his headphones on with all the gizmos on it tonight.
Yeah, because I'm on my cell phone.
Oh, okay.
Well, what kind of a deal is that?
Yeah, what happened, man? Did the earphones suck all the power out of the computer or something?
I'm fixing my computer because I think I might have got a bug or something on it earlier.
Oh man.
I'm not even going to ask where he got the bug from. Some of those free sites that ask you if you're over 18 or not.
Uh-oh.
He got one of them kind of bugs. Oh, look at him smile. He knows it's true. Come on, man. You can admit to it. Yeah, see that smile? He says, yeah, I ain't going to tell you guys where I got this bug. It ain't happening.
Well, that's why you have more than one computer there, Doug.
Let me check his green screen out behind him. I got to check his green screen out. Okay, I thought maybe he might have painted a wall, but he's got a green curtain or something back there.
Yeah, I've got these paper sheets you can get at Walmart for 77 cents a piece.
Yeah, that'll do good.
Doug,
I've even
what you were putting graphics of some sort on a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, you need to do like Tom and make it look like you're sitting in my shack over here. I've got a picture of Tom where he looks exactly like me sitting right in the radio operating position.
I still don't know how you did that.
You did it, Tom. It's your fault. You did
it. Oh, really?
Yeah. You don't remember that?
No, I don't remember.
It was pretty funny.
McDonald's.
That's our guest next week. Ronald is going to be with us next week.
Well, if you let him come, you're going to have to invite the Hamburglar and all that too, right?
Yeah.
Grimace is going to have to be there.
Grimace.
And then you got to give Wendy's and the Burger King dude equal time, don't you?
Oh, speaking of, I saw on a post. I think it was in Washington State. Was it? One of the big boy signs come down and collapsed on the ground.
Do what? Who are you talking about?
But them big signs that say that Shoney's big boy and all that other stuff there. One of them signs come down. It folded in half. Really, it hit the ground. Wow. Saw that on Facebook the other day.
Yeah. Well, guys, it's 10 o'clock here. I've only had breakfast today, and I'm really, really craving a peanut butter sandwich right now. And hopefully tomorrow morning when I weigh, I'll be a pound or two lighter.
You keep going like this. Next week we might not see you. We'll just see a pin.
Yeah.
We'll see a sucker stick.
Yeah. Hey, Bill, I'm thinking Walter and I, we may drive back down to MFJ down in Stark, Vegas here maybe next week. Visit a while. Make Martin buy us dinner.
Well, I'll tell you what. You're going to have to get him to tell you how to get out when you get back to the fork in the road. How to get around that fraternity row.
Well, yeah. We're talking about the only way you get out of Stark Vegas is to go right through the college campus, man, and it is a big campus down here. Let me tell you, what our problem is, Bill, is when we get to the Y in the road. When we get to the Y in the road, we need to take it.
It's that left turn at Albuquerque that gets you in trouble.
Yeah.
But we did left one time, and we ended up in I don't know, down in the bottoms. There wasn't a ton.
Well, that's the way the GPS got us back to the hotel after it routed us through the college to get back to the hotel.
I know, and I said to Ray Novak, I says, "Did you come through the college?" I says, "Did you come?" He goes, "No, I came right straight up the road." I'm saying,
well, Ray's been down here. Ray's been down here so many times. Of course, Ray worked there. That was one of Ray's first jobs after. Well, he went to college there, and then he worked there. That was Ray's first job.
Hey, Tom, if you do go to MFJ down there, look up Mike Ennis and shake his hand for me.
Okay, I'll say hi to Mike. In fact, we'll see Mike. Yeah.
That's Amatron there, Tom, if I remember correctly.
Say, this is from that idiot from down there in Odessa. Because I can't say enough about that guy, man. He's a top-notch character there.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He's a knowledgeable individual.
Yeah. A20F, what's that, A20 FM?
So.
A20 FM? Let's look at that. Oh, KA2 OFM, yeah. That's another William. William, you're William number 4.
William number 4. Hey, Tom, did you look at my QRZ page and look at my new QSL card?
No. Have you got a new one?
Yeah, I put my new QSL card on there.
I haven't looked at it lately, but I'll do that.
It's not that big a deal. It's just I got a new one, and my wife made it for me off of off a copy from my original mentor. Yeah. I found one of his QSL cards that he sent to a guy in Australia in 1960 or 67, whatever it was, and I bought it off of eBay from a guy in Australia. So that QSL card has been around for 50 years, and it's been around the world twice. And wound up 150 miles from where it started. I thought that was pretty cool.
Where I'm looking.
There you go.
There it is. Right there.
Look, you almost passed it.
Passed it?
Yeah, it's right there.
Okay.
What do you think?
I like it. Yeah. The Furious signal from West Texas.
Yeah, let me show you guys where that originally came from. Okay. This is my original mentor.
Wait a minute. Let me get you on here. Let me get it on. Hang on. Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's my original mentor. And that card was sent in September the 12th of 1967.
Okay. Cool. There it is.
To a guy in Brisbane, Australia. But anyway.
Well, very good.
Just one of those little geeky ham radio things, you know. I mean, it doesn't mean a lot to very many people, but if you guys would have known this guy, he was about a 6'6" German guy, weighed about 300 pounds, liked to drink beer, and was one of the most knowledgeable gentlemen in electronics that I've ever met.
Cool. Hey, let's pick up, is that a Lester? Is that Lester? The print's kind of small. I'm trying to read it from a long ways away. Let's see if I can bring him up.
Yes, it's Lester. He's got his audio turned off. Turn your audio on, Lester. Let us hear from you.
Lester's mic is muted. Just unmute your mic, a little button somewhere, wherever it is. Okay. And I see William. William. Hey, William. You want to say hello?
Tom?
How you doing,
Yeah,
William?
from White Plains, New York.
All right. Yeah,
I love the accent, William. Talk some more, man. I love that New York accent. There is nothing on the planet like that.
Accent.
trying to see your shirt. I can't make your shirt out. What's on the shirt there? Radio. ARL Field Day Radio. Okay, cool. Cool.
Yeah, just don't show my shirt. Mine says I don't give a rat's ass.
Oh, yeah, we'll have to censor that shirt. All right, guys, look, I'm gonna go, but look, Roy plays a mean guitar, and he's on here with y'all. Roy can play y'all some tunes, and y'all stick around and have a good time. I know last week y'all were on like till 3 a.m. or something. So
a couple of weeks ago we were on until literally like 1:15 Pacific time, which I couldn't believe. We did that. That was fun though.
Yeah, things got out of hand that weekend.
Yeah, well, I wasn't there, and I'm going now, so it can get out of hand again. So 73, everybody. We'll see you next week. And hey, don't forget, Riley will be here next week to preach.
Very cool.
Hey, Tom. Yeah. Thank you very much for everything you do for ham radio, man. You got a great thing going on, and just keep it up, sir.
Okay. Well, thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. We'll see you guys later. All right. Well, I'm getting off here, guys. I'm getting hungry. I'm ready to get me something to eat. Man, it's going to taste really good, man. I might have to have me 1.5 peanut butter sandwiches tonight instead of just one, because I've eaten very little today. But I sure like seeing the scale go lower each day. 73 everybody, and we'll see you later.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
All right, I don't know how many people are still left in the chat room. Looks like it's getting down pretty low. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week. Watch the Facebook group. Join our Facebook group, W5KUB, and you can see when we all get on HF. Join us. 73.